Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I have had this plant for about 4 or 5 years now. I do not know the name. I do know it is when I think it is Syngonium, but not pretty sure about the particular name. It's a beautiful plant. I used to travel a lot for this 4 years, and I've never ever particularly cared about it because I never had any time. Even if I come here, I used to stay for a day or two. This was in a pot of a similar size, and it had only 3 to 4 leaves and was never ever lush and green. It always used to be in a very bad state. I never paid attention because, like I said, I never had any time before. So and now since like 2 months, I think in January, I guess, I have changed the pot because even though it was not doing good, it was root bound and it had roots from under the pot. So I changed the pot. I watered it regularly. This plant, I don't know, everybody says that Syngonium does like moist soil but doesn't like overwatering and daily watering, but I used to water this. I am actually even now watering it daily. It's a very hot place here. It is like 100 degrees Fahrenheit in summers, maybe because of that. Like I said, I'm not pretty sure, but I water it daily. On a daily basis I water it. So in January, what I did was, I moved it out of that pot and I put it in this pot. I fertilize it whenever I remember, maybe once in a month, or maybe once in every 2 months. I do fertilize it with a normal NPK 1:1:1, and it is doing fine. It used to be in full sun because I never knew what it was. I didn't know what it liked. I took a picture of it and showed it to one of the nursery guys, and he told me it was Syngonium. It does, and it's whining actually. So it was in full sun. Now what I do is, once in a while, whenever I remember, I just put it in the outdoors, but usually I have it in my living room on the coffee table. And you can see all these new leaves. It's loving its life, and I'm loving my life looking at it. It's, I don't know, I just feel so happy, and I just forget about everything looking at this plant. This is my most favorite one, and I feel so proud when it's on the coffee table and it catches everybody's attention. I feel like a very proud mommy. It's such a good feeling when you show a little interest. Actually, I show a lot of interest on this plant. When you show the interest, and when your plants do good, and when somebody says she's looking beautiful, you'll be so proud. This she makes me proud all the time. She makes me so happy, and I hope I'm doing justice to this baby here. But then in just 3 months, because this is April 3rd, right? April 3rd. So in just 3 months, it has outgrown its pot again, and I am trying to repot it into a bigger pot of this size. So I think so it's this big. I'm gonna repot it. It is I have a layer of gravel here for the drainage, and I have the normal soil mix of garden soil, vermicompost, cocoa peat mixed to it. Cocoa peat I only have, maybe 20% of cocoa peat, and the rest is garden soil and vermicompost. I'm going to fill the pot with it, and I'll show you once I remove this plant out of the pot. I'll show you the root system. But you know, when you touch the pot like this, you can just feel the roots everywhere. It did come out pretty easy, so I am going to open up all the roots on this side, because you know, I want them to be open so that it would grow into its new home. So I'm going to open it very gently and then place it in the pot. So that's how I opened up the roots, and now I'm going to place it in its new pot. So I'm done repotting her, and I've pressed the soil so that there are no air pockets. This one needs a lot of medium, according to what I think. It needs a lot of medium because it grows really fast, and I bought this, you know, I bought a cutting of this plant of this size from one of my uncle's office. He had many of them in, you know, I think in maybe 20 pots or something. He had a lot of plants of the same kind on his office staircase. And all of them were equally neglected, you know. Honestly, it didn't look, the plant didn't look this kind, because if the plant was looking this type, I would have asked him for the whole pot. I would have asked my uncle to give me a pot, because he had plenty and no one was caring about them. They were just lying on the staircase, collecting all the dust in the world, and you know, so. But somehow when I saw it, the leaves, the plant called for me. That's how I felt. I didn't know if she called me, but I felt that, you know. But then once I planted her in a pot, I had to, you know, start traveling, and I've never paid attention to her. She was never like this. Like I said, you know, I always felt as if I owed her something, because I just gave her a new home, and you know, I wasn't pretty sure she was happy in her new home. So I always felt that I owed her, and she was the only plant which was infected with mealybugs. You know, in my house, no plant has any kind of infestation. This was the only one which had a lot of mealybugs. I tried doing everything that I can think of, you know, neem oil, and then the oil, detergent, and vinegar concoction, and every such recipe that, you know, I found on the internet, I tried on it. But initially I thought it was doing okay, but then again I see the mealybugs on it. It was highly infested. So when I changed it from the pot, like I said, you know, when I had all the time, you know, in January, when I thought of caring for it a little bit, before even that, I bought some more plants into my home, and then I was advised, you know, why don't you just throw this plant, you know, because it's highly infested and you're doing everything, but it's not helping it. So, you know, the new plants will be infected as well. So why don't you just put it outside, you know, or give it to somebody if you don't want to throw it. I was advised all kind of things by people, but then I didn't want to do it, so I isolated the plant, and then I cut the plant like anything. I cut it off from the bottom, and then I washed it thoroughly in water. Everywhere I see that white thing, I hand rubbed it, and then you know, between the leaves and in this corners of this, everywhere you know, in the front, in the back, I went through each and every leaf. It wasn't this lush then, so I washed it and then sprayed neem water, not neem oil but neem water. So what I did was I got some neem leaves, then I made a paste out of it, soaked it in water overnight, and then I stained the water, and then I used it and sprayed it all over the plant, and it did help. I don't know if this is the right way. Like I always say, I do not know much about plants, but this is what I did. And like I said, I had this for 4 years I think, maybe. It was completely neglected. So in the beginning of the video I told you that I water it every day on a daily basis, and then it used to be in full sun before, and now it is on my coffee table. But before, taking care of it, when I had it just lying in the balcony in full sun, I think they used to water it once a week, or maybe whenever they remember, and no fertilization, anything as such. But it did survive. It just survived. It didn't. She wasn't happy like this, you know. She wasn't having all this new growth, and she wasn't that happy, but she did live. And then since 3 months, since I've changed the pot and, you know, watering it daily, put it in full sun, then in full shade, and fertilizing it every month, it's still doing good. It is such a tolerant one. She has all the patience in the world, and, you know, such a positive one. You give, you don't give, she does what she wants to do. She just survives. She's a beauty. And yeah, I think I'm gonna water it thoroughly now and take it inside. I hope I didn't bore you guys, and I hope you like this video and enjoyed it. Thanks very much for stopping by and watching.